Hello everyone, my name is Cherell and I'm from FTO Nerd Talks. Today I made a Father's Day cake for my dad. It is an Oreo cake filled with Oreo flavor. It has 6 layers and it is just to die for. So feel free to keep watching so I can show you how I achieved this cake. First, we're going to start off with some water and sugar in a pot, and we're going to boil it until it's about 235 or 240 degrees Fahrenheit. I went ahead and blitzed some Oreos, about 1.5 cups first, so I can have that prepared for later. And then at the same time, I'm streaming in some sugar into some egg whites. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth because we have to do both of these things simultaneously. So there's the update on the sugar, and now we're going back to check on how the egg whites and the sugar are doing. Nice soft peak. So by that time, the sugar has boiled to about our desired temperature, and we're gonna go and take that directly off of the stove and add it straight into the egg white and sugar mixture. And we're just gonna slowly stream it in because I have done it on high before and the sugar gets everywhere. So you don't want that hot sugar getting everywhere. So you can see on the sides as I'm streaming in the hot sugar how it's getting a little bit steamy, but I'm going to show you guys how I cool it down to room temperature because that's what we're trying to get, room temperature. It looks really good right here, nice and smooth and fluffy. And here's me just adding some ice on the outside. I usually use 2 hands for this, so you can get an ice pack and just try to cool it down. There's no such thing as over mixing this, so don't be afraid to continuously do this for a couple of minutes. All right, so it looks nice and glossy. I'm just gonna go ahead and check to see how stiff it is, see if we can get a nice stiff peak or close to. At this point, you can actually make meringue cookies. Put this into a piping bag, pipe out little like dollops on a sheet pan and bake it. And those could be your cookies. But we are making buttercream today, so we're gonna go ahead and add in room temperature butter. I switched to the paddle attachment, and I'm just going in with 1 tablespoon at a time of unsalted room temperature butter. You don't want the butter to be too soft or melted because it's going to compromise the texture of the overall buttercream, and we don't want that. So I wanted to show most of this process because when I first started doing this, I first started making frosting, I was like, why is it so soupy? But you know what? You just have to keep going and just believe in yourself. So if it gets like watery, don't worry about it because the texture is changing. You can see it right here. It's starting to pull away a little bit from the sides and it's gathering more towards the middle, and that's what we're looking for. It's gonna take all the way until you add all of the butter. In this, I added 4 sticks of butter, which is 16 ounces or a pound. So it's lots of butter, and you'll see that we're getting the smoothest texture, nice and fluffy. All right, so here we go. I took out the paddle attachment. I just wanted to show you guys how fluffy and light this buttercream is. This has to be my favorite buttercream of all time. It is so good. Oh my goodness. All-time favorite. So I took out the reserve that I had of the Oreos on the side that I blitzed earlier, and then I just added them in. Just as simple as that. I think it's about 1.5 cups. To do this part, I just kind of guessed. So I just went ahead and added it in. This is what it looks like all mixed together. And if you taste it, it has a nice little crunch to it. And I just love that. So now I'm moving on to cutting the cakes. So I have 3 6-inch cakes, and I'm just going in right now with my knife to do my best to slice it in half. First starting off by scoring the outside and then just working my way towards the middle. These cakes were frozen, so it was a little bit harder to slice. I thought I cut my hand, but I didn't. So yeah, you want to be careful during this step. And so here are the cakes. They look really good, very Oreo filled. And so there's 6 pieces. I cut the cakes in half, and now I'm going to go ahead and stack them. So I have my cake turntable, and then just a 6-inch cardboard piece, and then I'm just stacking it on that cardboard piece. I need a little bit more height, so I just added this like dish at the bottom, so it's just a little bit higher. So whatever works, you just got to make it work. I also just eyeballed how much frosting is in between. You can use like a ice cream scoop if you want. So this is what it looks like. After I did that part, now I'm going to go in and trim off the sides, and then do a quick crumb coat. Put that in the refrigerator, and then ice it a little bit more, and then add the little decorations now. So I cut up some Oreos in half, best as I could, and then I just placed them accordingly. Hey girl! And so I wanted to slow this part down because I want to show you guys how I achieved these little dollops. They're so cute. I loved when I first learned it. I was like, oh my god, look at me go. So yeah, you basically want to turn your hand and the turntable in the opposite direction. And then that's how you're going to be able to achieve these cute little dollops. So I put them in between the half slices of Oreos and cleaned up a bit. And here is the top view. Looks pretty good to me. I cleaned up the turntable, and here's the side here. Just a little slow-mo. And lastly, here is a slice. It looks so good, and I just kind of decorated the plate. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and let me know what you think of this cake. Bye.